Was this the moment the balance of sprinting power shifted? Or was it just a wake-up call before the storm of the World Championships? At the Silesia Diamond League, two of the fastest men alive, Jamaica's Kishane Thompson and the United States' Noah Lyles, collided in a rematch that had been simmering for over a year. The stakes, more than just bragging rights. This was a test of form, strategy, and psychological edge heading into Tokyo. Their last encounter was in the Paris Olympic final, the most nail-biting men's 100-meter race in history. Lyles, by a microscopic margin of 5/1000ths of a second, stole gold from Thompson, ending America's two-decade drought in the event. That moment crowned Lyles as the Olympic champion, but it also planted a seed, a rivalry that has echoes of Usain Bolt versus Justin Gatlin. Since then, the question lingered. If Thompson's start had been just a fraction sharper, could the outcome have been different? Fast forward to this summer. Thompson has been nothing short of flawless. 7 official wins in as many races, 5 under the 10-second barrier, including a jaw-dropping 9.75 at Jamaican trials that ranks him 6th fastest all time. Yet it's worth noting he did taste defeat once at the hands of Akani Simbine, even as Lyles, meanwhile, has navigated a season marred by groin issues, careful meat selection, and a focus on the bigger picture, defending his world title in Silesia. But in the days leading up to Silesia, the anticipation was electric. As Lyles said pre-race, "You basically have the Olympic final, maybe missing 2 people, adding in some just as fast people. Of course, having Kishane there makes it even better." The gun fired, and instantly the contrast was clear. Thompson exploded from the blocks with surgical precision, reacting faster than nearly the entire field. Lyles, however, tied for the slowest reaction time with Akeem Blake, putting himself in a hole before the race had truly begun. In sprinting, every 100th of a second matters, and at the 10-meter mark, Thompson was already asserting his dominance. The gap was visible, and the Jamaican crowd in attendance roared with every stride. At 60 meters, Lyles began doing what he does best, accelerating into his monstrous top-end speed. His form tightened, his turnover quickened, and the gap began to shrink. He even outpaced Thompson from that point forward by 0.08 of a second. But here's the critical truth. Against a starter like Thompson, the real damage is done early. By the time Lyles reached his optimal velocity, Thompson was already on the verge of sealing the race. Let's talk cold, hard data. Thompson's reaction time in Silesia was a blistering 0.134 seconds. Not the absolute fastest in the field, but significantly quicker than Lyles's 0.153 seconds. Over the first 30 meters, that difference translated into almost a full stride advantage. Thompson's drive phase was textbook. Smooth power application with minimal vertical oscillation, allowing him to hit his top speed earlier than Lyles. By contrast, Lyles reached his maximum velocity later in the race, clocking a superior speed in the last 40 meters, but the deficit was simply too large. This stat sheet confirms what the eye test showed. Lyles didn't lose because of lack of speed. He lost because of the first 30 meters. The takeaway from these numbers is crystal clear. Thompson's victory was not a fluke of form, but the direct result of execution from the gun. If Lyles cannot tighten that reaction time and sharpen his acceleration phase, he will be forced into a catch-up game in Tokyo, a dangerous strategy when fractions of a second decide medals. Thompson, on the other hand, now carries both the psychological and tactical advantage. With his consistency and ability to hit top speed early, he controls the race dynamic before his rivals even find their rhythm. That is the kind of leverage sprinters dream of heading into a global championship. Thompson crossed the line in 9.87 seconds, equaling the meet record and etching his name into Silesia's sprinting history. Lyles followed in 9.90, his fastest time of 2025, and notably an improvement from his season opener of exactly 10 seconds in London. Kenny Bednarek and Christian Coleman rounded out the top 4, both clocking 9.96. The result? A reversal of the Olympic outcome, a psychological statement, and a momentum shift heading into the championship season. Lyles, ever the professional, acknowledged the significance of breaking the 10-second barrier for the first time this season. It is a great stepping stone. I am getting the confidence. It makes me really excited for not only today, but also for next week in Tokyo," he said. His optimism is valid. This was his first major 100-meter race of the year, and there is room for improvement. But he knows his start remains the Achilles heel against sprinters like Thompson. Here is where the drama deepens. At the World Championships in Tokyo, Lyles will be defending his 100-meter and 200-meter titles, a feat last accomplished by Bolt in 2015. He has the wildcard entry and the championship pedigree. Thompson, meanwhile, has the form, the consistency, and a bullet start that could neutralize Lyles's famed finish. Add in Bednarek, Coleman, Blake, and possibly Fred Curley, and we are looking at a field where the margin between gold and fourth place could be less than a tenth of a second. The race splits tell the story. Thompson's acceleration phase was near perfect, giving him a lead that even Lyles's superior max velocity could not overcome. In Tokyo, if Thompson replicates this pattern and maintains composure under pressure, he becomes the clear favorite. But Lyles thrives in high-stakes environments. His championship record proves he can time his peak perfectly. The question is whether he can fix his start in less than 4 weeks. That, more than anything else, could decide the gold medal. So, was this the passing of the torch to Thompson, or just another chapter in Lyles's comeback script? Will the Jamaicans' flawless season climax with a world title, or will the Americans' championship mettle once again prove unshakable? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear who you believe will rule Tokyo's 100 meters. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep the sports spirit alive.